I haven't recorded a video in a while, and it's because I have been totally burnt out. Okay, so here's the thing. I have not been doing any Writing Quest videos for quite some time. The reason being is that I am really struggling there for a while. I was doing a lot. I was putting a lot of videos out, and then I just totally collapsed. You know, a lot of things happen in life. My wife starting a new business. We have this going, have a job. We have our child who's got a lot of things. As things started to get more stressful, you know, it's a typical what people expect or what happens to a lot of people all of the time is that, you know, you're just going and going and going and you're doing things and things are exciting and you're moving. And then I just hit a wall. And then part of that was as you get into that, your habits start to get worse and worse. You take care of yourself less and less, and then finally you just kind of collapse. And so that's totally what happened to me. So that is where I've been for the last few months, where I haven't been putting out any videos. I've kind of put out a few random shorts here and there, but I've not really actually put out any videos. In this video, we're going to talk about the things that I am doing to get back on track, get back to making videos and writing this story. So here we go. So number one, this is the most obvious one. The most obvious one being that I am focusing on health. So focusing on sleep, diet and exercise, all of those kinds of things. You know, that's kind of the first thing that always goes, right? Whenever you start getting to a place where you can't really keep up and you can't really just continue doing all the things that you're doing, you start, you're going to start eat a little worse, you're going to eat a little more sugar, you're going to start sleeping less because you got to stay up late and wake up early. And so this was kind of like, I just kept losing these health habits that are what help keep you going. It's kind of a chicken and the egg thing. You know, it's so funny that we cut these health habits really fast when we start getting out of control, but those are also the things that help us keep going. So it's this chicken and the egg scenario that I just kind of got into that trap and fell into it. The second thing I'm doing is whenever this happens, you kind of lose the joy of the creative thing you're doing, the thing you're trying to do. And so I kind of got almost even resentful of my writing of my story, I just don't even want, I don't want anything to do with this. And I just got really burnt out. I was super burnt out on it. So one of the things that I'm doing to start combating that is I'm just kind of reading my story for fun. One of the things that's been, and I think most writers start this way, is they want to write a story for themselves. They want to write a story that they would want to read. I think that's what makes stories better in the long run, is you're not writing a story for someone else. You're not writing for some, made up someone out there. You're writing it because it's a story that resonates with you and something that you would read because you want to. And so this particular item is that I want to rediscover my story. I need to get back into it, read a lot of the things I've written, kind of get connected back into why I love the story, why I'm creating it, and ultimately, rediscover why I want to create the story and why I love it so much. Number 3, the next thing on the list is using my Storybook Master Novelist Notion template. So if you've been around here for a while, you know that I do love Notion a lot for all of my writing and outlining, specifically outlining, but I do some writing and stuff with it too. And one of the tools that I created to help me do that, which is available to other people if you want it, is Storybook Master Novelist. It's a Notion template that I created that walks through the entire process of outlining you can do a multiple series, you can do one book, you can do basically anything you need to with your series and all of the books you have. Walks you through the whole process of brainstorming characters and world building and outlining the parts of your story. It's based around the 3-act story structure. And so it's really just a great tool I find when I get burnt out, when I'm in these moments of, my mind feels really chaotic and it's crazy up here and I can't focus, finding a structured tool to help guide me really helps take some of that edge off. It really focuses. One of the best things about Storybook Master Novelist is that it really takes you down to, just focus on this part right now. Don't think about the whole wide big picture. Think about this part. And so getting back into using those tools, but whatever tool you use, get back to using the tools that help you structure what you're doing and help you really create well. So I think there's always, a good writing, I think, is a combination of pantsing and outlining, like that whole idea of like, are you an outliner or are you a pantser? Sometimes you just need to sit down and write. Sometimes you just sit down, take your pencil, write whatever comes to you. And sometimes you need something that gives you that structure. And so I really think, I'm going to read my stories and get kind of back into them, but I'm also going to get back into using the structured tools. In this particular case that I've built, any tool will work that you want to use that resonates with you to give you a little more structure, so you don't have to do so much of the thinking about what you're doing and start thinking about just the creation process. If you do want a copy of Storybook Master Novelist, you can click the link down in the description below. If you use the code WQ15, you can get 15% off your purchase. So make sure to check that out if you are interested. The next thing is using timed writing blocks. So now most of you know that if you've been around here at all, you know that my main writing advice isn't to go for a word count, but it's to go for a time count. So work on, instead of I want to write 1,000 words today, I'm going to write 15 minutes today. And so going back to those basic principles of using a timed writing block, schedule it in my day, and just starting really small. I got to get into this place of not overwhelming myself and just start small. I'm going to write 5 minutes today. Completing 5 minutes is the goal. However many words happens in that 5 minutes, that's all that happens. But completing the time is the goal, because if I can just sit and write for 5 minutes, then I completed and I won the day. And then increasing that over time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, until eventually I can work back up into an hour or something like that, where it's a good chunk of writing time. The other thing that's nice about timed writing blocks, which if you've ever, again, heard me talk about this, is that you end up writing more words than you would do if you did, say, I'm going to just write 1,000 words. Because when you hit that 1,000 word mark, you stop. Well, what if you're still motivated? What if you still have more story you want to tell? The best way to do it, I think, is a timed writing block where you just write and write and write, and you start getting in that flow, and it works really, really well. So I think in the long run, if you use a timed writing block, you end up actually writing more words than you would do if you had a word count goal. And the last thing is silently considering my story. I really believe in this idea of silently contemplating your story. What do I mean by that? We do not, as creatives, generally spend enough time simply just thinking about our story. We're constantly, or whatever we're creating. It could be, if we're editing a video or writing a book, making a movie, a piece of art, whatever it is. But we don't spend enough time simply just silently considering what we are doing, thinking about it. Why are we doing it? What's the next logical steps? I'm not talking about reading while you're doing it, whether you're watching a show. I'm talking sitting or standing or going for a walk with nothing else going on and silently considering your creative project, thinking about it, deeply considering every aspect of it and where it could go. We don't give ourselves enough time to do this, and I think that's to our detriment, because things could really go a lot further and faster and better if we give ourselves more time to work out the problems without the pressure of putting down the prose or putting down the outline or whatever we have to do. And so really take that time to, and this is a big part of what I'm doing here, is that I want to sit and really, read my story, maybe do some outlining, but then really just consider every possible outcome of what this story could be and what I want to do with it. The last thing is to really reduce distractions and screen time. Screen time really hijacks your dopamine receptors, and this is kind of part of why I got so burnt out too, is, the more stressed you become, the more you're like, I just want to veg out and watch TV. I just want to veg out and watch YouTube. I just want to veg out and, turn my brain off. The problem is that when you activate the screens and you start watching TV and YouTube and scrolling social media, it actually doesn't turn your brain off. It actually makes you more stressed. It activates those dopamine receptors. This is a lot of things that have been studied, and I'm sure there's so many people out there that have talked about this on YouTube, but that I've really noticed a big part of my burnout was, I was doing a lot of stuff, I was getting stressed, and so then I would, eat a little bit more sugar and desserts, and then I would take more time on social media, and I would be scrolling, and all of a sudden now I'm spending all of my time being super unhealthy and doom scrolling, and that just totally zaps all of your creativity and kills everything. So this is really a big one too. This is kind of the most practical element of this, where it's like shutting off those screens, making sure that you do that a few hours before you go to bed, and so I can get a good night's sleep, not waking up and using screens and all that kind of thing. So that's probably one of the toughest ones to overcome, because especially in a world right now where, creation happens on our devices, it's hard to segregate that into actually doing work versus just getting caught up in watching YouTube and doing nothing, basically. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for being patient. We have a lot of new people on the channel, despite the fact that I have been kind of slow on videos. We're up past 1,100 subscribers. We are really got a lot of new people in this community, so make sure that you're putting comments down below, talking to each other, asking questions. I'm really excited for the fact that this channel is continuing to grow, and I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for everything that is coming. Make sure to check out Storybook Master Novelist if you haven't. We also have a couple other Notion templates. If you haven't seen anything about Notion, you don't know what it is, I have a lot of videos on Notion on my channel, so make sure to check those out. I'll put some links in the description and some links, on the screen somewhere around here. We have a lot of things coming. I've got some book reviews I need to do, books I've read. I've got some movie reviews and things going on. Make sure to check out some of our other channels. I do a channel with my daughter called Pokemon Quest, where we talk about Pokemon cards and Pokemon games and TV shows and all that kind of stuff. My brother, Mr. Legends is what he is called, has Gamer Quest. Make sure to check that out. He streams games, and so if you're into gaming, he's a great resource for you to check out. Also, check out my brother Aiden, who originally helped me start this channel. He does author quests, so make sure to check those out. We have a whole family of Quest YouTube channels for you to check out, so make sure you do, and we will see you next time on Writing Quest. Huzzah!